Hello everyone, my name is Sasha Rosa and I am with the Client Relations team here at Advanstaff. Today we will be going over the next-gen onboarding process on the manager side. So the first thing we'll go over is how to input the new hire information on the new hire screen, and then we will continue on into the certification of the I-9 Section 2 to make them an official employee. So we'll go ahead and get started. So here we are at the Prism home screen. So in order for us to get started, you'll come to the search bar and type in new hire. So here we are at the new hire data screen. As you can see, there are many fields here, but we're only going to be doing the ones that are listed in red. Those are the mandatory fields that we do need filled out in order to get the process initiated. So the first thing we'll do is come up to work location and click on it. And then what that did is it brought up all the locations that your company currently holds. So then from here, you'll just associate which property that the employee will be working under. So for the demo, we'll go ahead and click Las Vegas. All right, so the next field that we need to fill out is the social. So we'll go ahead and get that filled out. And then you'll kind of just click off to the side. And then what that did is for the employee ID, it leaves it as pending. And that's because we're still inputting the information in here. And then the employee has to still fill in their information as well. So once everything is filled out, it will go ahead and generate that employee ID. So it looks like our last one for this top portion is the hire type. So we'll go ahead and click on it. And then as you can see, we have two options here, employee W-2 or contractor 1099. Now, although the system gives you two choices, the W-2 or the 1099, you will always use the W-2 as the employee type. Just to repeat, you will not use the 1099 as the employee type, but you will always use the W-2. So we'll go ahead and click on that W-2. All right, and then that completes the top portion, so we can move on to the personal information now. And as you can see, there's only two highlighted fields that we do need to get in this section, and that's the first and last name. And it's very important as you are filling out these two fields that you do take it from their legal document. Those documents can include their social security card, their U.S. passport, their permanent resident card, or the employee authorization card. Those hold their full legal name, while the driver's license and or ID sometimes don't have their full legal name written on there. As examples, it could be missing maybe their second last name, junior, senior, first or second. So if you take it from their legal documents, you'll get their full name every time. All right, so for the demo, we'll go ahead and put in our person. His name is Jeremy, and his last name is Reiner. And then that completes the personal information section. So here we'll go into the next one, which is your employee details. So the first one that we have here is the client start date. So we'll click on the box. And then now you'll just go ahead and pick the day that your employee will be starting with your company. So we'll just choose today. And then as you saw, the employer's start date also populated after we put in that client start date. So that's one less field that we'll have to worry about. So now we can move on to the position. And then again, this will just give you a list of all the current positions your company currently has, and then you'll just associate which position that the employee will be going with. So for this test, we'll go ahead and put he is a manager. And then as you saw, the benefit group also populated in there as well. So it has that correct grouping of what they'll be for their benefits. And then now we'll go to the employment status. And then you will always choose active employee. These other fields listed here will just come as they're needed, and we can make those adjustments accordingly. But as you guys are filling out for this new hire, you'll just go ahead and always choose active. All right, so now we are at employment type. And then this is just to say if they're going to be full-time or if they're going to be part-time. Now, some of you may have some temporary associates that come through, and then that'll be a case by case. But most times you will be using the part-time or the full-time as your choices for this one. So we'll go ahead and mark him as full-time. And here we are now at the last one for department. And then you'll just associate which department that he'll be under. So for his manager type, he will be under benefits. And then that completes the employment details here. So here we are in the last section, which is pay details. So we'll click on the pay group. And then this right here will give you sometimes other options as well. Just for this particular demo, we only have it under a semi-monthly basis, but your company could have a weekly, bi-weekly, the semi-monthly, or a monthly basis. So just remember to choose accordingly for that employee. So we'll go ahead and choose the S. Now, as you saw, the standard hours did populate a certain amount of hours. Now, those hours are associated with a semi-monthly basis. So that is the allotted hours in that time frame. So if you have other pay groups listed here, then these hours will change accordingly. So now the next one is pay method. So we'll use the drop down. As you can see, we have 4 different options here. So you'll just associate again which one the employee will be with. So if we have a salary employee, what you will do is for the pay rate basis, you are actually going to use the yearly, because if you try to do it with the biweekly, whatever that salary lit is right in here, it will pay them that salary every other week. So that's why it's very important that when you do a salary that you do it under yearly, and then it'll calculate it for that pay group how much they should be getting paid throughout the year. But in this case, we will go ahead and make our employee hourly, and then that populated the pay rate basis to hourly as well. So now we'll just go ahead and put in his pay, which will say he's going to get 25 an hour. And then that actually completes the actual new hire data screen. Because all the fields are filled out, we'll just go ahead and make sure that everything is in there correctly, and then you'll just hit save. Now, just as something to keep in mind, there is one field that is not highlighted in red, and it's because it's not mandatory. But if you do get a hold of their personal email, go ahead and list it in here. So when you save it, because what's going to happen is the employee will be shot an email, and in that email we'll give them instructions on how to get to the employee portal so they can fill out their next gen information. If you don't have an email because it wasn't provided by the employee, that is fine. You can go ahead and just give them the link then to get to the portal so they can fill out their documents there. But if you have the email, you're more than welcome to go ahead and associate their email with it, so that way they can be sent that email and then get started with the process there. So if everything looks good here, then you'll just make sure, scroll down, and then you'll hit save. Now it will take a couple seconds because now it's registering all the information that you've just inputted, and then it'll say successfully updated. And then from there, if your employee did have an email, it will shoot them to go ahead and get started then in the portal, because they have a link that will take them directly there. If not, then you'll just give them the link to go into the portal and then register so they can go ahead and get started. And then in there also, what they're going to be doing is their I-9. So it's the first document that they actually go ahead and get started with. And then as soon as they're done with the I-9, you will be shot an email letting you know that I-9 Section 2, which is the manager's portion, is ready for you to go ahead and verify. So what we'll do is we'll scroll up here and we'll go back to the main screen. And then we'll actually see what the certification of an I-9 looks like now. So here we are at the main screen of the Prism. And now in order for you to locate where that I-9 is, you'll come up to the top right-hand corner, and there's going to be a circle with a check mark in there, and we're going to click on it. Now from here, as you can see, this is going to be your queue. So right now, the bottom part is for everyone. So anyone who has approver status to do the I-9s will have see the bottom portion, and they'll see everyone who is listed in that queue who needs to get their I-9 or other documents approved. Now, once we click on it, so what's going to happen is you see this I-9 Section 2. So as you can see, this is not Jeremy Reiner. It's because his documents still need to be filled out. So I have Tammy Trott here, and we're going to use her I-9 to go ahead and get it certified today. So we'll go ahead and click on her I-9 Section 2. And then what that did is asking if we want to grab it, and which we will. Now, as you saw, it brought it all the way up here. Now, this top one, this is your own personal queue. So what this does is it takes it from the bottom one, which everyone has access to, and puts it in your own personal one, so that way no one else can see it. So that's why it's very important that when you are grabbing, that you make sure that those documents do get done, because no one else will have access to it. So that person, if you haven't completed their I-9, their documents will be incomplete. So we'll go ahead right now and click on the I-9 once again, because this time it's going to bring up the actual document, and then we can review it to make sure that everything is inputted correctly. And then after that, we can go ahead and get started. All right, so the document is loading up right now. And then let's say, for instance, that someone forgot their last name here, like their second last name. So if it wasn't associated right here, what we can do is we can hit the word deny. And then you'll put the reasoning behind the denial, and then it'll shoot them back into the portal itself to go ahead and make that correction and then resubmit the document. And then from there, you'll see it appear back in the approval status of the bottom one. And then from there, you'll go ahead, reselect it, and then make sure that the allotted information did get in there correctly. Another tool that we do have available for you is the return to queue. So let's say that you pulled it for yourself, but now you don't have a chance to actually get it done. What you'll do is you'll hit return to queue. And then now if you have like another manager that can go in and get that approved for you, now they can go back in, grab it, and then get that I-9 certified. All right, so we'll pull it once again and we'll grab it. And then we'll click it one more time so that way we can have it load for us. All right, so once this document gets loaded, we'll just verify that all the information matches their legal documents. And then after everything looks good, you can scroll. So her part looks great. Now, as you're looking at this section 2 right here, you can see everything has NA listed here. And that's only because we haven't went in and put in the information that was given to us. So what is going to happen now is we'll go ahead and hit next. And now this is where we're going to take their documents that they provided with us, and we're going to input it in right now. So here we have the different types that you can choose of the information that they gave you. So if they gave you a US passport, what you're going to do here is you'll go ahead and look at the passport, and then you'll come to issuing authority, and it'll always be US Department of State. That's the only option you have. So it makes it a little less getting the wrong one chosen. And then you'll enter in their document number and their expiration date, and then it'll take you to the next screen. The List A document itself is good all by itself. So when you're filling out this one for the US passport or the passport card, they're good all on its own. Along with if the employee chose that they have a permanent resident card or an employee authorization card, those documents are good all on its own. So you only will get the List A, and then it'll take you to the next page to actually certify. Now, if they were given a B, which would be a driver's license or an ID card, what's going to happen is the List C documents will now appear as well. You need a supporting document to go with that B. So with the driver's license and or ID, you do need to put the issuing authority, and then that will always be the state that the license was issued in. So then we'll go ahead and hit Nevada. And then you'll put in their document number, which is listed as 4D on the licenses. That's how you'll be able to identify the number if it's not visible for you. And then from here, you'll put in their expiration date, and then that will end the List B portion. So then when we come to C, you have your top ones would be your Social Security card, your US birth certificate, or with some people, it may be the receipt of the Social Security card. Now, that is a valid form that we can take. So we'll go through each of these and explain how to make sure that they are inputted in correctly. So with the Social Security, we'll start with that one. The issuing authority will always be the Social Security Administration. Even though sometimes it will have the health one, Social Security Administration is your main one that you will be using. Now, when we come here to the document number, you'll just put in the actual Social Security number. And then for the expiration date, there actually isn't one for your Social Security card. So you'll hit this little box here for NA. Now for the next one, which will be the US birth cert. For this one, the issuing authority will always be the state that it was issued in. So we'll just go with Nevada. And then you'll put in their document number. Now, usually the document number is listed on the left-hand side, but on some documents, it could be on the right-hand side. So it's just going to depend when you're looking at it, which side that the actual number is on. And then from here, we have your expiration date. The actual birth certificate does not expire. So just like the social, you'll write NA in there. Now, the last one that we do have that is one of the popular ones that you will be receiving is the receipt for the Social Security card. So with this one, it will still be the Social Security Administration, and then you'll write in their actual Social Security card number. But for here, even though it's a Social Security, it's in that family, it has an expiration date. It's 90 days from the date listed on that paper. Very important that you do write that number out because That's not their official document. And so we'll need to go ahead and make sure that we do have it listed here as 90 days. And then once that 90 days comes around, then we need to put in for the actual Social Security card and then put that as NA. So we'll go ahead right now just to get it certified. We'll just choose Social Security card. And then we'll choose the Social Security Administration. We'll put in a number. And then we'll put NA. And then up here, I just need to put in the document number and the expiration date. So we'll get that going real quick. And then the expiration date. Now from here, all you're going to do is hit next. And then this is like additional information. So again, if you had like the Social Security receipt, you can put employee had Social Security receipt. This is the day that we need to make sure that we have new social. And then you can click next. And if you don't have anything, you can automatically just click next. So then from here, you're actually going to certify the actual I-9 now, which is just putting in your title that you hold in your company. Then you'll put in your last name, first name, and then the actual business would auto-populate here. And if there's any corrections that need to be made, you're more than welcome to go ahead and make those adjustments. And then if everything looks great, you'll hit next. And then this will be your last chance to actually review the document before you submit it in. So then you'll just make sure with the documents that are in front of you that everything looks good. And then if you wanted to, you can scroll back up to make sure Tammy's side looks good too. And then if that's the case, then you'll just go ahead and hit submit. And it's asking if we want to confirm, and that's a yes. All right, and then you'll hit done. And now Tammy, as you see, is not in the queue anymore on either side, and that means she is actually in as an employee. So now you can go back to your main page. You can locate her name. So we'll go ahead and find it. So we have Tammy right here. So now she is an active employee in the system. So now if you wanted to review the documents, you'll come up to this 3 stack that kind of simulates a hamburger. You'll click on it and you'll go to documents. Now all the documents that the employee filled out are now listed here. So if you needed to have copies for your records, like physical copies, you can go in now and then click on it. And then it will bring up the document itself. And then you're more than welcome to go ahead and print it so you'll have it for your records if you need a physical copy or just need to look at it in a paper form. So we'll go ahead and click out of there. And then also with this, you can go ahead and edit information if you have to, or look and see if everything was inputted correctly. But other than that, that is a start to finish on the manager side of them inputting the information in for the new hire data screen. And then we've done the certification of the I-9. And now you guys are well aware of how to locate their documents if you wanted to make sure that everything did get in. Now, another way, if you guys wanted to go ahead and review to see if you have like a bunch of employees filling out their documents at the same time, another way to go ahead and review what their status is you'll come to this box right here and you'll use the drop-down option to go to onboarding task by status. And then what this does is it brings up all the current employees that need to fulfill all their documents. So then these are the 3 people that we have in here that need to go in and actually start their documents. And then this I-9 section 1 means they haven't completed yet because they actually haven't started. And then there's drop-down options here for you as well. So we have employee information, I-9 section 2. So if you want to see if there was any I-9s that need to be completed, you can click on it, or all other forms. So with these all other forms, it'll give you a list of all the forms that these employees need to complete. And then as they go, what's going to happen is right now it's shaded in a faded gray. And what's going to happen is as they complete it, it'll turn into a solid black. And then that means the progress has been completed. And then they only have the ones that are in the gray left to be completed. So if you ever wanted to get an idea of how far your employees are on filling their documents, you'll come to the onboarding task by status and click all other forms, and then you can follow their tracking right here. Now, If an employee is getting ready to start their documents and as they're registering on their part and it's saying that it's the last name given doesn't match what's on record, if you wanted to verify the information that you inputted in, you're going to come to the search bar and you're going to type in workflow location. And then what's going to happen is it will take you to the screen where you'll go ahead and you'll be at where you can actually look at the information that you inputted in the system. So we'll go to workflow type. It'll always be onboarding. And then the action will be to edit new hire. And then you'll just go ahead and enter in your client ID, which we'll go ahead and give to you. And then from here, you're more than welcome to enter in the new hire name or their social, or if you hit search, it'll bring up all the ones that you already have ready in the system. So then from here, you'll just verify that the information that you wrote down is the same that's there, or if it's missing anything. So we'll go ahead and just click on one. So then it'll bring you into this screen where you'll go ahead and verify that the information that you inputted, if it needs to be adjusted. So let's say that the social was just entered in wrong. So you'll just make that adjustment. And then when you hit save, now the employee can go in on their end and start their actual documents. So other than that, that is the completion of the manager's side until the employee completes their portion. We will be having a video if you want to see what the employee is going to be completing. We'll have that on the website shortly. But other than that, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to give us a call here at Advanstaff, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day.